My administration is also taking vital action to protect seniors in nursing homes. Obviously, that was a very sad situation, what happened to some of the states where they didn't do a good job with respect to nursing homes. They were caught unaware.
President Trump today focusing on fighting for America's seniors, as roughly 40% of deaths nationwide were in nursing homes, striking the elderly and caregivers. House Republicans now putting pressure on governors who sent COVID-positive patients back to those facilities, leading to some of those devastating death tolls. My next guest is leading the charge, citing shocking statistics. Quote, on a per capita basis, nursing home deaths in New York are 500% higher than Florida, and New Jersey is 1,120% higher than Florida. So what happened there? Joining me now, House Minority Whip Steve Scalise. Good to have you with us. Thank you very much.
Good to be with you, Martha.
Good to have you with us. Why was there such a difference between those two states and Florida?
Well, unfortunately, Martha, what we found out, and we investigated this thoroughly, a few states, about 7 different states, their governors gave orders that contradicted the CMS guidelines that were coming down from the federal government, and they forced seniors to go back to the nursing homes, even if they were COVID positive, and actually, in many cases, prohibited the nursing homes from even checking to see if they were COVID positive, if they weren't even able to handle them. And we got letters from governors, like this was the governor of New York, who explicitly prohibited the nursing homes from even testing you for positive. This, by the way, is still going on in the state of Michigan. The governor issued an order doing the same thing, forcing those nursing home patients back. And thousands of nursing home patients died in each of these cases that shouldn't have died.
But you
they
heard
should have
what
stayed at the hospital somewhere where they could be protected.
We asked a lot of questions about this, why they weren't sent to the Comfort ship here in New York or to the Javits Center, where so many beds went unused and those facilities were converted to be able to accept COVID positive patients. But Governor Cuomo basically said that it was the federal government's fault, that was the instructions they got from President Trump and the federal government.
No, in fact, Martha, we got this guideline here from CMS. CMS issued 14 different guidances to protect seniors, and they were ignored by states like New York, New Jersey, Illinois, Michigan. Again, like I said, at least in New York, they went 46 days. Thousands of seniors died unnecessarily when they finally reversed it. Michigan's still doing this, Martha. Yeah. They've got to stop this right now in Michigan. But all of these other states ought to answer these questions. New York stopped reporting the data. So we don't know how many more thousands died because they just stopped giving us the data. They've got the data. They just aren't sharing it with anybody. So we sent a letter asking for this.
Yeah, that's one of the things that you're pressing for, is this data, so that we can, start to do this in a better way and right the wrongs. I mean, obviously the elderly population was highly at risk with this virus, still is highly at risk with this virus. But the question that always comes up to me when I look at this is, how many could have been saved? How many of these people were not, it was not their time. They would have been able to survive if they had been given the right environment.
Right, and we've seen that, and that's the worst part of this, Martha, is that in so many cases, this shouldn't have even happened. I mean, we know there are people at risk that are higher at risk. Seniors are the worst at risk, but 0.6% of our population now accounts for more than 40% of the COVID deaths in America. And in many of these states, it should have never happened because they violated the CMS protocols. It shouldn't have happened.
So before I let you go, 3 years ago yesterday, you were shot at a congressional baseball practice. We covered your story. You were kind enough to let us in on your first day back to Congress. What are your thoughts when you look at what's going on with policing and the difficulties that we're going through in this nation right now, sir?
Yeah, this is such a sad time. And look, we all want to root out bad cops, but I got to see that day what is best about law enforcement, because David Bailey and Crystal Griner risked their lives to save mine and everybody else on that field. They were both shot, and they still went at it and took down the gunman to save the rest of us. Law enforcement does this on a daily basis and doesn't get the attention they deserve for what they do right. If somebody does something wrong, they ought to be held accountable.
Representative Steve Scalise, always good to have you, sir. Thank you very much.